Hello and welcome to another episode here on my channel of Mole in the Morning and your gaming news. My name is ChaosMole and today we have the gaming news for Wednesday, October 12th, 2022. And it's a day. It's not super crazy, but there are definitely some announcements which are just, one of those days. And I would say we are jumping directly into it. By the way, one quick note before we do that though. If you ever want to check us live, you can do so from Monday to Friday, starting at 8 a.m. ET, which is 2 p.m. Central European Time and 1 p.m. UK time, in whatever time zone you're in right now. And yeah, we are doing gaming news there and then playing always the newest games. So make sure to check it out at youtube.com/chaosmolefx, or because now we have this new YouTube text system. It's at ChaosMole, just at ChaosMole, and you should find us. I hope. I really hope, because it's YouTube and I'm not sure if it works, because YouTube. So, let's jump into the first news. And I'm not really surprised about this, but then again, it's like, yeah, let's read about this. Because unfortunately Square Enix has announced that Final Fantasy VII The First Soldier is end of service. It is with a heavy heart that we are announcing the end of service for Final Fantasy VII The First Soldier, and we will be ending service at 7 a.m. UTC on January 11th, 2023. Despite all our efforts to bring you regular updates with fresh and exciting content, we haven't been able to deliver the experience that we are hoping to and that you all deserve. We have made the extremely tough decision to end the service for Final Fantasy VII The First Soldier. We would like to thank you all for supporting us over the past year. Yeah, that's right, the game was just a year old. Although there is only a little less than 3 months until the service ends, we will continue to make updating during this time, so we hope you will continue to enjoy The First Soldier until the very end. No. Yeah, keep in mind, like, the game did go into, yeah, it was super fast. The game did go into, like, closed beta this year and then released, I think, in the summer or something? For everyone who's like, what is Final Fantasy VII The First Soldier? It's a mobile battle royale game. A mobile-only battle royale game where they try to ride on the wave of the Final Fantasy VII remake, and they wanted to jump into the whole PUBG Fortnite craze in a Final Fantasy VII setting. And again, this was a mobile game. Keep in mind that the tryout rate on mobile is insanely high. This is why a lot of companies believe that they have to create now mobile games to be seen, even though they have absolutely no clue how to manage the market. And I have to say this here again, this is a wonderful example of Square Enix trying to push so hard for live service games, and it seems like they don't have the right people in place to do that. Like, first we had Babylon's Fall, which announced that it will shut down, right? Now we have The First Soldier, and I think we had some other games over the years where you were just like, oh my god, Square. Oh my god, Square. I mean, Square Enix tries to compete with companies where they're just not accustomed to. And you know what? Normally I would say, okay, look, this is a learning experience for Square Enix. They're making crucial mistakes now. They learn from this, and hopefully this will improve their products in the future. And we don't know if that is really happening or not, because Square Enix has their moments. But you know why I do not say this? Why I do not, like, think about the company? Because we, the customers, are getting screwed here. Like, Babylon's Fall was a $60 game a year ago. Final Fantasy the First Soldier had tons of microtransactions in it, where probably spent a good chunk of money on it because, whales. There were definitely some people who were spending some solid money on this, and they are all losing this. And this is one of the biggest problems I have with live service games. That they just feel like if you were jumping into a live service game at this point, you have a pretty high chance that your live service game at the end of a year will be all but forgotten. I know there are examples of live service games who even support their games when it doesn't work well, right? Like, we have to say that. But we had also too many where the company was just like, well, we are not making billions over billions here every month, so I guess we are out. I was like, oh, cool. So you screwed it up first for everyone, and now you're pulling out. Hello, Anthem. I mean, I will be honest, the same will happen to Battlefield 2042. 2042 had 2 major updates in a year. Yay. And I can guarantee you, next year, May or June, we will get the new Battlefield announcement, and also the slight notice that, oh well, Battlefield 2042 had a fantastic lifetime. We gave it like 3 major updates. We reworked the old maps, and now we are letting it die. Thank you for playing. See you in the next Battlefield. Yay! And it's like, yeah, this is why I'm not investing into your game. Like, this is why I'm not buying into those microtransactions. Because I just know that I waste my money here, because after a year or 2, the game will disappear. Like, shit. Battlefield 1 is a wonderful example. I love Battlefield 1. I would go so far to say at this point Battlefield 1 was my most beloved Battlefield. And there were 2 reasons why I never put any money into it, beyond buying the DLCs and stuff. First, the skins looked absolutely abysmal. Like, horrid. Second, I knew after 2 years, DICE would be like, best Battlefield of all time, millions of players on a daily basis, have a good one. Battlefield 5 is coming up. It's just like, nah, I just can't. I can't trust those companies anymore. And here it is again. Like, after a year, you're killing off the game. I mean, I get it. When you need hundreds and hundreds of players in the BR mode, and you have only like 100 people playing the game, then you have a problem. I get that. But this is why I have issues of trusting you to begin with. Right? That's as simple as that. So that happens now. If you were one of the people who are still playing this game, then sorry. So this is very interesting. As you know, the whole Activision Blizzard Microsoft acquisition is still going on. And the CMA, which is the UK watchdogs organization, has been issuing some issues they have with the acquisition of Activision Blizzard by Microsoft. And funny enough, those issues are, well, pretty much just copy-paste of what Sony is saying. And Microsoft has now issued a statement where they're going through the points the CMA is noticing, and is basically saying that all of those points are completely misplaced. And it's kind of fascinating because just a few months ago, the CMA got basically smashed their face in for similar regulation when Meta, aka Facebook, was trying to buy, who was it? Was it Giphy? I think it was Giphy they were trying to buy, and they made similar points there. And then a court was like, "What? That is the stupidest thing I have ever heard. Shut the hell up." And so we will probably see similar things here with the CMA and Activision Blizzard. But let's read through the points Microsoft were given to the CMA and see what they have to say, shall we? The CMA's concerns are misplaced for the following reasons. Sony PlayStation has been the largest console platform for over 20 years, with an installed base of over 150 million consoles, making it larger than Nintendo and more than double the size of Xbox. That is true. Like, this is actually already the biggest thing where I'm just flabbergasted about the CMA's reaction when it comes to being afraid that this could stifle competition and that Sony would actually be damaged from this. It's like, what are you talking about? Sony and PlayStation has been the number one for over a decade now. Undisputed. Even the PlayStation 3, which, let's be honest here, somebody who has owned and bought the PlayStation 3 on day one for €600 back in the day, everyone agrees that there was a shit console at the start. And even that didn't stop Sony to remain the number one. That's how powerful PlayStation is. So to make the point in the first place that, this could really put PlayStation into jeopardy, it's like, what? What? I don't think so. Sony engages in conduct today which is reflective of its market power in console gaming, including increasing prices of its console without fear of losing market share. And then it got cut out. The suggestion that the incumbent market leader with clear and enduring market power could be foreclosed by the third largest provider as a result of losing access to one title is not credible. There are more than 4,000 games available on PlayStation alone. Yeah, that's like, don't get me wrong. Call of Duty is a moneymaker for Sony. Sony doesn't want to lose that. And they have also investing in the last few years heavily into Call of Duty to have exclusive rights. Well, not exclusive in the way of you can only play a Call of Duty on PlayStation. And believe me, if they could, they would. But they have like a lot of other exclusive things going on for PlayStation, and Call of Duty is doing it because PlayStation is the market leader. The evidence shows that less than of PlayStation's monthly active users, MAUs, are playing Call of Duty. Even without all those gamers, a highly improbable outcome from a hypothetical foreclosure strategy, the PlayStation gamer base would remain significantly larger than Xbox is today. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Of all the PlayStations I did own, I can say I never associated PlayStation with Call of Duty. I have a lot of other games I do associate Sony and PlayStation with. Uncharted, God of War, Horizon, The Last of Us, Spider-Man. Shit, I could go on here for a while. Those are the games which are going through my mind the moment I hear PlayStation and not Call of Duty. Since the transaction was announced, Sony has acquired several game studios, including Bungie, developer of the popular online game Destiny 2, Haven Studios, Lazen Glee and Savage Games, and a minority interest in From Software, the developer of the biggest game of 2020, Elden Ring, among other hit games. Yeah, like the Souls series. The complements Sony's existing minority shareholding in Epic Games, publisher of Fortnite, strong first-party game catalog, an extensive portfolio of exclusive arrangements with third-party publishers. There were over 280 exclusive first and third-party titles on PlayStation in 2021, nearly 5 times as many as on Xbox. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's not really far-fetched. And it goes further, by the way, there's more. The CMA provides no evidence that rivals rely on Microsoft's multi-product ecosystem for cloud gaming. The emergence of cloud gaming provides that do not rely on Microsoft multi-product ecosystem shows that Microsoft does not have the ability to foreclose competition. Consumer adoption of cloud gaming remains low. Yes, sure, they look. They are banking here on the next decade. This is not something they're doing for right meow, but they're doing this for a decade. And I have to say, this is also Sony's fault that they have basically ignored it for so long. It's like, yeah, duh. Like you cannot really blame Microsoft for having the foresight of starting early with cloud gaming, because I remember 5 years ago when Xbox was basically just whispering their first idea of using cloud gaming, everyone on PlayStation's side was like, cloud gaming? Who would use that? Who wants that? And now Sony is like, if they're doing this, cloud gaming would crush us. It's like, oh, well, that's weird. Harming or degrading rival services would significantly set back adoption of this technology, protecting market-leading incumbents, Sony on console, Apple and Google on mobile, as well as Steam on PC. Xbox as a platform, which is in last place in console, 7th place in PC, and nowhere in mobile gaming distribution globally, has no incentive to do this. Wow, that's self-burn. Yikes. Instead, its incentive is to encourage the widespread adoption of cloud gaming technologies by as many providers as possible to encourage the major shift in consumer behavior required for cloud gaming to succeed. Yep. So they're basically arguing here that they have no interest to eradicate the competition right now because the technology is still pretty much in its infancy years, and they need as many competitors as possible to push this technology and to basically make the market adopt it. And like they have no reasons to close somebody out, which, yeah, makes sense. They also had to say a little bit more about Call of Duty here. Microsoft has no intention to take Call of Duty away from gamers, and indeed, it has publicly committed not to do so. The value of Call of Duty depends on its community of gamers, the majority of whom are on PlayStation. Keeping Call of Duty on PlayStation is, therefore, a commercial imperative for the Xbox business and the economics of the transactions. As such, Microsoft has offered Sony a contractual commitment to continue supplying it with Call of Duty, including new releases with feature and content parity. The referral decision fails to explain why, in the CMA's view, Microsoft would make such commitments publicly and privately, which are also reflected in its internal documents, if it had no intention of honoring them. Foreclosure strategies of the type outlined in the referral decision would alienate the Call of Duty gamer base and tarnish both the Call of Duty and Xbox brands, undermining the relation for the transaction. Microsoft would place at risk over US dollars in annual revenue from sales of Call of Duty on PlayStation, as well as substantial revenues from other Xbox games distributed via PlayStation. Microsoft has been clear that it is counting on revenues from the distribution of Activision Blizzard games on Sony PlayStation. Yeah, this is something people do not understand. I know that people say, yeah, they will make it at some point. They will totally make it an exclusive. Yeah, that's what they want. No. I know that Starfield will be an Xbox and PC exclusive, and that people love to use this as an example. But Starfield is not an established IP. It is Bethesda, but it is not an established IP. Call of Duty, as much as you hate it, as much as you love it, I think we can all agree to say that Call of Duty is a monolith in the gaming industry. The money Call of Duty makes every year puts everything besides of GTA to shame. Yeah, so Microsoft wants this money completely to their own. Sure, they want the money. This is why they bought Activision Blizzard. But to keep making that money Call of Duty makes right now, they need PlayStation. You see how your argument contradicts yourself. If Microsoft really wants to make the money Call of Duty makes right now, they need PlayStation. And even in a few years, they would still need PlayStation for that to happen. They need them. When it comes to games like Diablo or Overwatch or something like that, sure, there is a significant amount of people on PlayStation. But it is nowhere near close to the Call of Duty numbers. So again, if there is one game Xbox really has no interest that it becomes an Xbox exclusive, it's Call of Duty right now. They just don't. So also, here is one last note. This is the last part. Xbox plans to make the Call of Duty franchise available to more gamers in more ways than would have been the case in the counterfactual. While this increased competition will benefit gamers, it has not been welcomed by the market leader Sony. In theory of harm, A1, the CMA adopts Sony complaints without the appropriate level of critical review. Indeed, industry commentators have noted that the referral decision is written like they want to protect Sony's position in gaming while claiming there isn't much competition to Call of Duty. And then this is where this is coming from, right? And they are right. Like when you are reading the CMA report, you're realizing very quickly that it sounds more like they are concerned about that Sony might lose something here, instead of to look like, okay, how would this help the consumer? Like, I always see this argument that even Sony makes, right? Where they say, hey, look, if we are losing Call of Duty, PlayStation as a brand, probably doomed. Now again, the numbers do not support this, and let's be real here. If your console is only surviving because of one game, you have a problem, right? You have an actual problem. But the reality is, oh, that's weird. Hey, psst, Nintendo, yeah, come over here for a minute. Tell us, how much money does Call of Duty make yearly on your Nintendo Switch? What was that? Oh, you don't have Call of Duty on the Nintendo Switch. And you're making money hands over fist? More than Xbox, who has Call of Duty? Nearly as much as PlayStation, who has Call of Duty? Okay. You want Call of Duty? You don't care? Because you have all your other first-party and third-party title? Okay. Yeah? Okay, thanks. you the people literally make the argument that PlayStation needs Call of Duty. Is like, even then, no, they don't. This is Sony essentially saying, we don't want to lose anything. Let's be real here. They will lose some stuff. They will lose some money over this. But the last time I checked, that's how capitalism works. Like, your competition makes moves, you try to counter move them, and it will succeed, or you will lose some money over that, right? Like, that's how competition in capitalism works. And that the CMA is literally stepping in here and says, whoa, Sony would lose something here. No, we cannot have that. It's like, what? What? That's not what you're doing. That's not your job, CMA. I understand that Sony is doing everything in their power to not let this happen, right? I totally get that. But for the CMA, it's like, you are there to protect the consumer and not PlayStation. And the consumer would definitely not lose anything here if Microsoft would buy Activision Blizzard. It's as simple as that. So, yeah. But speaking of Sony, also something we figured out. Speaking of using money, Sony has apparently paid 3.5 million US dollars to put Ark Survival Evolved on PlayStation Plus. As you might know, Ark Survival Evolved was on PlayStation Plus as a title in March 2022, and because of a filling between the SEC and the studio behind Ark, we basically found out that Sony has been paying 3.5 million US dollars to pay for the PlayStation Plus title, which is quite a bit of money to say the least. Also, a quick note, Saints Row will finally get its first update where they are fixing a lot of bugs, because the game has been out now for 2 months, and there hasn't really be any updates to fix the game, and the game is still in a problematic state, to say the least. No. Oh, this one is a good one. Speaking of Activision Blizzard, yay! Let's talk about Activision Blizzard. They have an update regarding Overwatch 2. As you might have known, Overwatch 2 had a very, very bumpy release. DDoS attacks, bugs, glitches left and right, new security measures which basically made a lot of people not be able to play the game anymore, and so on and so forth. So you could say that, yeah, it wasn't going too well. Of course, they pushed out a new announcement, so that's good. And they're saying that besides of making progress on bug fixes and stabilization, we've got goodies to share with all the players. First things first will be the health pack weapon charm, because yes, every weapon needs now weapon charms. Yay. The cursed Captain Reaper, and there will be a 2 times the match XP for the next weekends. Let me show you the weapon charm and all that. This is the weapon charm. It's literally the health pack in Overwatch miniaturized. Yay. And this is the legendary Reaper skin you will get for free. So that's nice, I guess. Looks kind of cool. Not the best Reaper skin in my opinion, but I'm biased. So again, looks kind of cool. Of course, that doesn't really fix like all the issues they have, and we will see how that goes. But I would say at least that's an improvement, right? Yep, that's an improvement at least. But with that said, that was it with the gaming news, at least for today. Let me have a super quick look if there are any important gaming news. But no, I think we're good. Yeah, don't really see like any new announcements. So it seems like we are done for today. So again, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget, if you enjoyed the video, to like it. And also, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe for more daily gaming news. And if you ever want to check out where this was recorded, which is on my main channel, then you will find a link in the video description, and it's down below. And it's youtube.com/ChaosMoleFX, or just at ChaosMole with the new system YouTube has. Yeah. All right. But with that said, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, and I hope to see you next time.